Under the new bill, certain tourism-related businesses, including tour guides, craft traders, and places of interest, must be registered with the Jamaica Tourist Board. But the opposition says it could sweep up others too, including Airbnb hosts.
But to pass something like this is wrong, given how far-reaching the implications are. So I'm urging
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, and Isabel Rose. And in this one, this current administration revisits the regulation of Airbnb bill. It says that it's still on the agenda, says Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett. After 2 months ago, we've seen a heated debate in the parliament between the government and the opposition, which basically the opposition made them had to suspend the bill. As well as Peter Bunting, who won in the southern Manchester constituency, basically took over a constituency office that looks like a pigsty. Stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So exactly 2 months ago, we seen this government basically rush to introduce a new tourism bill that will incorporate craft vendors, incorporate tour guides. It will also take aim at Airbnb hosts. And there was a big back and forth debate in the House where the same bill had to be suspended because the opposition was saying to them, I don't think half of those who own an Airbnb knows about this bill, and so same was suspended. But take a look and listen at what really transpired in the House since July.
A new tourism bill aimed at modernizing Jamaica's tourism framework was passed in Parliament yesterday, but it has triggered criticism from the opposition, who claim the legislation could harm small players in the industry, including Airbnb hosts. Raymond Morrison has the latest.
The 70-year-old Jamaica Tourist Board Act is being repealed and replaced, with the government arguing that the updated legislation brings the industry in line with the modern realities.
All tourist enterprises will now be required to be registered. Additionally, the following tourism enterprises must also obtain a license to operate from the Tourist Board. 1. Tourist accommodations. 2. Tourist attractions. 3. Domestic tour services. And 4. Ground transportation services. So, Mr. Speaker, the new pieces of legislation, therefore, will repeal the River Rafting Act of 1970 and the following regulations and orders.
Under the new bill, certain tourism-related businesses, including tour guides, craft traders, and places of interest, must be registered with the Jamaica Tourist Board. But the opposition says it could sweep up others too, including Airbnb hosts.
But to pass something like this is wrong, given how far-reaching the implications are. So I'm urging time for the consultation, and for those who are being affected. I hear you saying you consult, but may I tell you, me know the majority of people who run Airbnb don't know nothing about this. Or the first time them I hear about this. I could just call it plain. First time them I hear about this. Give it time, don't rush it. Don't create a liability and put people in a... No, you say it's not for Airbnb, but people who are operating what you call domestic tourism. They're caught within it.
Opposition leader Mark Golden also accused Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett of sidelining stakeholders and rushing the passing of the bill.
I note the definition of tourism accommodation, and it means any facility or premises offering lodging or sleeping accommodation to any tourist or domestic tourist for hire or reward of any kind, including and it says a villa or an apartment, for example. So clearly, this would encompass what we describe as the Airbnb type accommodation. And certain consequences of matters arise from this, because it is bringing within the scope of this regulatory regime what we know has evolved to be a major part of the tourism industry. But are they ready to be regulated in this way?
But Minister Bartlett dismissed the claims, insisting that the bill is not designed to target Airbnb hosts.
Focus has been on Airbnb, and it's unfair to say that simply because Airbnb is not unstructured. Airbnb operates on platforms that are highly structured, for which certain requirements are made, for which they must comply, failing which they will never be on those platforms. So within its own self, there is that regulatory. And the discussions are not about them and rates per se. The discussion is about how do we ensure destination assurance.
Minister Bartlett went on to explain that the new legislation marks a step towards greater accountability in structuring the tourism sector. But the opposition insists more consultation is needed. The tourism minister agreed to suspend the debate to allow for a broader consensus.
Wanna think me done? Wanna think me done? Wanna think me done? Me just a come. What can go so? So all of who the things say this government was gonna leave the whole tourism bill suspended indefinitely on a think wrong. So in a recent article in the Gleaner, the headline says regulation of Airbnbs still on the agenda, says the tourism minister Ed Bartlett, right? And he says regulation of peer-to-peer accommodation such as Airbnbs remains a priority, with over 30% of last year's 4.3 million visitors to the island opting for such stays. Bartlett clarified that Airbnb itself is a brand and a business model, but the government is addressing the wider peer-to-peer accommodation sector, which he describes as the fastest growing accommodation subsector within the tourism space. So for all who have a look at house and a throw a mortgage on the overseas or wherever else you may there and want to use it as a Airbnb, well, this government want to get regulated so that they can collect their tax. So when you see the stewards them and the other big boys them will own the whole heap of big hotels them push out on election day and say them go vote early and I show them two finger and I show say I shower them say one of the things say I did for the poorer class of people, then did I show say them support the Jamaica Labour Party. And for themselves, because when Anju done with, with them whole heap of bills that we might come forward in the house with, to collect how much tax off on while them big boys them get whole heap of tax break. Wanna make a sad mistake, wanna not escape this one here. Joke them there, Anju. But let us see what will go down in the House of Parliament as it relates to this bill being reintroduced into the Parliament, because we've seen them suspending it. It wasn't indefinite, so we know so them did go revisit it, but them do it quick and fast. So them did just wait for, get this third term for JOOK even hotter. But I'm moving right along. We're seeing where Peter Bunting basically won the constituency in the general election down there in southern Manchester. And he basically went to take a look at the constituency office that he's supposed to, be using in order for the constituents to can have easy access to him and or, his workers there. But then again, when he went there, one piece of pigsty, one piece of ratta castle. So me I wonder who was the former MP. Wasn't this office being used, or is after when they realized they lost, they went there and vandalized and deal with the place like this? This couldn't have been used. But take a look at this, ABR family and viewers.
Today I've come to take possession of the building that has traditionally been used as the office of the Member of Parliament for Manchester Southern. And I gather it was originally an old public works office that for decades has now been used as the office of the Member of Parliament. However, having done a walkthrough, I have to say I'm wondering if it was occupied for the last few years. It's very run down, it's in poor condition. It looks like a outdoor kitchen and wood stove was pig operated. Garbage piled up on one section, and the building hasn't been maintained. But you know, old buildings need maintenance, and it's gonna take a lot of work. But as the song says, everything them broke down, we're gonna build back. So I hope that in a couple of weeks, we will have the office operational, and I want to make it easy for constituents to be able to access their Member of Parliament.
No, sir. What is that? ABR family and viewers, go ahead and chime in the comment section with me you wanna say. Please, drop your honest opinion. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 50K. Help me to get there, please and thanks. Get this video to at least 7,000 likes. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Thursday.